Welcome to Coffee Talk English. Learn natural English through engaging conversations between Alex and Emma. Each episode helps you improve listening, speaking, vocabulary, pronunciation, and everyday communication skills.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. Thanks for joining us today.
Today we're talking about a question that sounds simple, but it can become surprisingly deep. The question is this: what would you tell your younger self?
I love this topic. Almost everyone has thought about it at some point, usually at 2 o'clock in the morning when they can't sleep.
That's true. Or while looking at old photos and wondering what they were thinking.
Exactly. You see a picture from 10 years ago, and suddenly you remember a decision that seemed brilliant at the time. Then you realize it was not brilliant at all.
The interesting thing is that this question isn't really about the past. It's often about what we've learned. It's about how experience changes us.
And it helps us understand our present selves. The advice we would give usually reflects our biggest lessons.
That's a great point. If someone says they would tell their younger self to be more confident, that tells us something. If another person says they would tell themselves to take more risks, that tells us something different.
It almost becomes a map of a person's life. You can see where they struggled. You can see what mattered most to them.
And I think many listeners will relate to this. We all have moments we wish we had handled differently.
But hopefully today's conversation isn't about regret. It's about growth.
Absolutely, because if we only focus on mistakes, we miss the bigger lesson. Mistakes are often the reason we became wiser.
That's a comforting thought, especially for anyone listening who just made a terrible decision yesterday.
Yes, if that's you, don't worry. You're helping your future self become smarter.
That's one way to make people feel better.
I'm trying my best.
Well, let's explore this fascinating question. What would we tell our younger selves? And what can everyone learn from that conversation?
When people imagine talking to their younger selves, they often focus on advice. But I think there's another interesting question. Why do we want to give that advice in the first place?
Because we know things now that we didn't know before.
True, but there's more to it. We also understand consequences better. We can connect actions with outcomes.
That's a good point. When you're younger, you often think about today. You don't always think about 5 years from now.
Exactly. Young people aren't unintelligent. They simply have less experience.
I remember being convinced that certain problems would last forever. A bad day felt like the end of the world.
And now?
Now I realize that most problems are temporary. Some feel huge in the moment, but they become small chapters in a much larger story.
That's one piece of advice many people give. They tell their younger selves not to worry so much.
I would definitely say that. I spent too much energy worrying about things that never happened.
That's surprisingly common. People often suffer twice. Once in their imagination, and once in reality.
Sometimes only in their imagination.
Exactly. The event they feared never even occurred.
That's why experience is valuable. It teaches us which fears deserve attention and which don't.
Another common piece of advice is about comparison. Many people wish they had compared themselves less to others.
Social media made that even harder.
Definitely. We constantly see other people's achievements, their vacations, their promotions, their success stories.
But we rarely see their failures. Nobody posts a picture saying, "Today I made 3 terrible decisions."
That would actually be refreshing.
It would. It might be the most honest account on the internet.
Comparison creates an illusion. We compare our entire lives to someone else's highlights.
And that's never a fair comparison.
So maybe one message to our younger selves would be this: focus on your own journey.
I like that. Progress is personal. Everyone moves at a different pace.
Here's something I've been thinking about. If you could actually travel back in time and give advice to your younger self, would they listen?
Honestly, probably not.
Really?
Think about it. Most young people already receive advice. From parents, teachers, friends. They don't always follow it.
That's true. Sometimes people need their own experiences.
Exactly. Some lessons can't be borrowed. They have to be lived.
That's fascinating. Maybe wisdom is easier to understand after the struggle.
I think so. Imagine telling your younger self not to fear failure. It sounds nice. But until you've failed and survived, it's difficult to believe.
That's a powerful point. Experience gives credibility to advice.
Yes, and failure is one of the biggest examples.
Many young people think failure is proof that they're not capable.
when in reality, failure is often proof that they're trying.
I wish more people understood that.
Me too. Some of my biggest improvements came after mistakes.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Early in my career, I wanted everything to be perfect. I was afraid of making mistakes. So I spent too much time preparing, too much time planning, and not enough time actually doing things.
That's interesting. So, perfection became a problem.
Exactly. I wasn't failing, but I wasn't growing either.
That's a lesson many people need to hear. Perfection can sometimes slow progress.
Definitely. Done is often better than perfect.
I think my younger self needed that advice too. I spent years waiting for the perfect moment.
The funny thing is that the perfect moment rarely arrives.
That's true. Life is usually messy. Opportunities often appear before we feel ready.
And if we keep waiting, they disappear.
So, another message might be this: start before you feel ready.
I completely agree.
Here's another idea. I would tell my younger self that confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build.
That's such an important distinction.
Many people think confident people were born that way, but confidence often comes from action.
You do something difficult. You survive. Then you trust yourself a little more.
Exactly. Confidence grows through evidence.
I wish I understood that sooner. I spent years waiting to feel confident before taking action.
And what happened?
Nothing. Because confidence never arrived first.
That's a great insight. Action usually comes before confidence. Let's talk about relationships. That's another area where people often have advice for their younger selves.
Absolutely. I would tell my younger self not to spend so much time trying to impress everyone.
That's relatable.
When you're younger, approval feels incredibly important. You want people to like you. You want everyone to agree with you.
And eventually, you realize that's impossible.
Exactly. No matter what you do, some people won't like you. And that's okay.
That's a lesson that takes time.
It does. I think many people waste years trying to become someone's ideal version of a person.
Instead of becoming themselves,
Exactly.
I would tell my younger self something similar. I would say, choose your friends carefully,
That's interesting. Why?
because the people around us influence us more than we realize. Their habits affect our habits. Their attitudes affect our attitudes.
That's very true. Motivation can spread through a group, but negativity can spread too.
Exactly. The environment matters.
I remember having friends who encouraged growth. They challenged me. They supported me. Those relationships were incredibly valuable.
Sometimes one good friend can change the direction of your life.
Absolutely.
Another story comes to mind. A friend once told me he regretted not taking more opportunities when he was younger.
What kind of opportunities?
Travel, learning new skills, meeting new people. He always thought there would be plenty of time later.
That's a common assumption.
Yes. Then life became busier. Responsibilities increased. And many opportunities became harder to pursue.
That's why balance is important. We shouldn't act recklessly. But we shouldn't postpone every dream either.
Well said. Here's a question. Is it always useful to think about what we would tell our younger selves?
Interesting. I think it depends on how we approach it.
What do you mean?
If we use it to learn, it's helpful. If we use it to criticize ourselves endlessly, it's not.
That's an important distinction.
Some people look back and only see mistakes. They become trapped by regret.
And regret can be dangerous.
Exactly. It keeps your attention focused on something you cannot change.
But reflection is different.
Very different. Reflection asks, what did I learn? Regret asks, why wasn't I perfect?
That's a powerful contrast.
Nobody gets everything right. That's not how life works.
I agree. In fact, some mistakes become valuable lessons.
Here's a thought. What if changing the past would also remove some of the wisdom we gained?
That's fascinating. Maybe certain struggles were necessary.
Not enjoyable, not easy, but necessary.
So perhaps we shouldn't want a perfect past.
Exactly. A perfect past might create a less capable person.
That's a perspective many people don't consider.
We often celebrate success, but we underestimate the role of setbacks.
Some of our strongest qualities come from overcoming difficulties.
I completely agree.
As we come to the end of today's conversation, let's share a few final messages for our younger selves.
Mine would be simple. Stop worrying about everyone's opinion. Most people are too busy thinking about their own lives.
That's excellent advice.
I would also say this: be patient with yourself. Growth takes time.
I like that. My first message would be this: failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success.
That's a lesson worth remembering.
My second message would be to take action sooner. Don't wait until everything feels perfect.
Because it never will.
Exactly.
I would add one more thing. Appreciate the present. Don't spend your entire life waiting for the next stage.
That's beautiful. Many people spend years saying, I'll be happy when. Then another goal appears, and another, and another.
Happiness keeps moving further away.
Sometimes the life we're waiting for is already happening.
That's a wonderful thought.
So maybe the biggest lesson is this: the younger version of ourselves didn't know everything, but neither do we.
That's true. We're still learning. We're still growing. We're still making mistakes.
And that's perfectly normal.
Life isn't about becoming flawless. It's about becoming wiser.
Well said.
We hope this conversation encouraged you to reflect on your own journey.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Think about it. You might discover something important.
Thanks for spending time with us today.
We really appreciate it.
Take care of yourselves.
Keep learning.
Keep growing.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.